the girl who wasn't supposed to be seen. The night was quiet on the human outpost of Delta 47, deep in the outer rim of the galaxy. Soldiers walked patrol routes. Drones scanned the area. Bright spotlights moved slowly across the ground. Everything seemed normal. But someone else was there. Someone who should not be seen. A young alien girl crouched behind a stack of supply crates. Her name was Sira, and she belonged to the Valari, a race known for their advanced invisibility tech. With one soft touch on the side of her neck, her body shimmered and disappeared. Now fully invisible, she crept forward. Her mission was simple: get in, gather data on the human base, and get out. She had done this before on other planets. No human had ever seen a Valari spy. Their cloaks were perfect, until tonight. As she stepped silently into a hallway, the automatic doors opened with a hiss. No sound betrayed her. No sensor beeped. She was a shadow with no body. But then she froze. There was a human soldier ahead, leaning against the wall, reading something on his wrist device. He was tall, wearing dark armor, and had a scar over one eye. She took one slow step forward. Suddenly, his head snapped up. His eyes looked right at her. Sira's heart jumped in her chest. No. That's impossible, she thought. She didn't move. She didn't breathe. She was still invisible. But the soldier narrowed his eyes. Then he whispered, "I see you." She turned and ran. Her feet made no sound as she rushed back through the corridor, ducking past crates and slipping behind metal walls. She didn't look back. She didn't stop. No one had ever seen her before. No one was supposed to see her. Sira hid in the ventilation tunnels above the barracks, curled into a small space where the heat from the base couldn't reach. She breathed fast, shaking. How did he see me? Valari cloaks were built to bend light. Mask energy signatures even fool AI sensors. Not even drones could detect them. But that human, he looked straight at her like he knew. She tapped her wrist panel. The cloak was active, fully functional. Nothing had failed. Then why did he speak to her? The next morning, Sira stayed hidden. Through small vents, she watched the humans go about their day. Some laughed, some trained, some cleaned their weapons. And then she saw him again, the soldier, who had seen her. He was walking near the outer fence alone. He stopped near a food crate and without a word set down a small wrapped packet. Then he walked away. Sira didn't move at first. Was it bait? A trap? But after 2 hours, when no one came near, she crept out carefully, still cloaked, and picked it up. It was food. Fresh, warm, and untouched. Why would he do this? Did he know I was here? She returned to her hiding spot and ate, and for the first time in many nights she slept without fear. That night Sira watched him again. He stood at the edge of the base looking up at the stars. She came a little closer. Still invisible. Still silent. He didn't turn around this time. But he spoke. "If you're still watching," he said, "I'm not your enemy." Sira's breath caught in her throat. He knew. She backed away into the shadows, confused and scared. Who was he? How could he see through the most perfect technology her people had ever made? Later, while reviewing old mission data, she found something strange. Her cloak recorded normal readings, except one brief spike when the soldier looked at her. A faint energy burst from his eyes. Not normal. Not human. She stared at the data. What kind of human is he? And for the first time since she arrived, Sira wasn't afraid of being seen. She was curious. The human with strange eyes. Sira couldn't stop thinking about the human who saw her. No one else on the base acted strange. No one else reacted. But that one human, he looked at her like she was standing in plain sight. And his voice, calm, not afraid. He even left food. Sira wasn't sure what scared her more, that he saw her, or that he didn't seem surprised at all. The next night, Sira returned. She stayed invisible, high above in the dark corners of the base roof. From there she could see him clearly. He was sitting alone near a broken shuttle, watching the stars. Again, and then it happened again. He looked straight up at her as if her cloak meant nothing. Still hiding, he said softly, like talking to an old friend. "You're not very good at it." Sci froze. No one, not even her own people, had ever spoken to her that way. She moved closer, silently. Just a few steps, still invisible, still quiet. His eyes flickered in the low light. Not glowing, not bright, but strange. Almost too focused. Like they could see past everything. She had studied humans before. Their eyes were weak in the dark, their senses poor. But this man, he didn't blink. He didn't squint. It was like his eyes weren't normal. Later, back in her hiding spot, she reviewed her scan logs again. Her cloak's sensors had picked up the same burst of energy, small, sharp, and quick, right before he looked at her. And this time, it came. Only from him, not from tech, not from scanners, just him. Is he enhanced, modified, or something worse? Her people had told her that humans were simple creatures. Dangerous, yes. Violent, yes. But blind, predictable. Clearly they were wrong. The next morning she found another package of food, left at the same spot, unguarded. This time, there was something else. A small piece of paper. Humans called it a note. She picked it up. 4 words were written. Still watching? Eat well. Sci sat alone for hours after that. The soldier didn't try to trap her. He didn't call backup. He didn't raise any alarms. He was talking to her like he knew she was scared, like he knew she was curious, like he could feel her there even without seeing her. Who is this human? Why can he see me when no one else can? She thought she was the hunter, the spy, the invisible shadow. But now, she felt like the one being watched. And strangely, she didn't mind. Silent conversations. Sci had watched many humans in her short life. From behind her cloak, she had seen them laugh, fight, and sleep. She had studied them like prey. But this one was different. He wasn't loud. He didn't brag. He didn't even talk much. And yet, without saying a word, he was talking to her. Each night, he left food in the same place. A small piece of fruit, a packet of water, once even a folded blanket. No traps, no tricks, just quiet offerings. And each time he left a tiny note, simple words, no questions, no commands. Hope you're warm. Bad storm coming tonight. No patrols tomorrow, you'll be safe. He never asked who she was, never begged her to come out. He just spoke to the silence, and somehow he knew she was listening. Sci wanted to ignore him. She had a mission. She was trained to resist emotion, but something about him made her stay longer each night. One evening, she picked up the note and, for the first time, she left a reply, just a symbol, a shape from her language, one only someone clever or curious could understand. She hid behind a wall and waited. The human came, picked up the symbol, and stared at it. Then he smiled and drew a symbol of his own, one that matched hers perfectly. He understands. Sci blinked, confused. Her people said humans were wild, short-tempered, and simple, but this one was learning her language, without scanners, without translators, just patience. The next few days changed everything. Sci began leaving more symbols. He answered, each one. They created a pattern, a silent language only they understood. She asked questions. He answered, "Why can you see me?" He replied, "Not see, feel." "How?" "I don't know. But I knew you were there the first time I heard the wind pause." No one else on the base noticed. To them, the human was just another quiet soldier. But to Sci, he was now something else, a connection, a mystery, a danger, a comfort. One night she broke protocol completely. She stepped out from the shadows. Still invisible, but close. Too close. He stood just 10 feet away, facing the stars again. And without looking, he spoke. "I'm glad you're not alone out here." She didn't answer. But in her heart she realized something terrifying and beautiful. She wasn't alone either. The watching eyes in the sky. The stars above Delta 47 always looked peaceful. But Sira knew better. Peace was a lie told by the sky, while something deadly moved just behind it. It started 3 nights ago. While hiding in the shadows, Sira saw a flash in the clouds, quick and silent. Not lightning. Not natural. She zoomed in with her visor, a drone. Not human. Not Valari. Unknown. It hovered for 3 seconds, scanned the base, then vanished. The next night there were 3 drones. Silent. Smooth. Watching. They weren't searching for the base. They were scanning for her. Her cloak flickered. A warning appeared. Frequency match detected. Signature ID. V-class fugitive. Her blood went cold. They know I'm here. She slipped deeper into the tunnels, heart pounding. Her people hadn't just abandoned her, they had tagged her like prey, marked her DNA with a secret code. Now someone, something, was tracking her from space. But why now? Why after all this time? And more importantly, what would they do if they found her? She wanted to run, to leave the base and disappear into the mountains. But then she remembered him. The human. The quiet soldier, with strange eyes. If the drones saw her near him, they might come for him too. He doesn't even know he's in danger. That night she left no symbol, but he came anyway. He stood in his usual spot, waiting in silence. Sira stayed hidden above, watching. She wanted to warn him, to scream, to tell him to leave. But she couldn't. She had no voice he could hear. Not yet. And then, a low hum in the sky. Her head snapped up. One of the drones was back, closer than before. Its scanner beam dropped down, red, sharp, cutting through the dark like a blade. It moved toward the human. Sira didn't think. She jumped. Her invisibility cloak shimmered as she collided with him, knocking him to the ground, just as the beam passed overhead. The drone paused, scanned again, then flew away. The human looked up at the empty sky, dazed. She stayed still, just inches from him. In that moment he spoke, quiet, calm. "I know you're here, and now I know someone else is too." Sira stood up and backed away. She didn't reply, but inside she finally admitted the truth. He wasn't just someone who could see her. He was someone she needed to protect. The trap was meant for him. Sira had always believed she was the target. A fugitive, a failed experiment. A mistake her people wanted erased, but she was wrong. The drones returned, not to scan her, to follow the human. For 3 days she tracked them from the shadows. Each time he stepped outside, the drones followed. Not openly, quietly, from a distance. As if they were studying him, Sira hacked one of their frequencies. The message stunned her. Subject: Human 314 Beta, Visual Perception Anomaly, Classified Threat. They're not after me, she realized. They're after him. She stayed close to him that night, hidden in the trees, watching. He sat by a small fire, eating alone. His eyes scanned the darkness. Not scared, just aware. Then suddenly, a sharp click. The ground beneath him dropped. A trap. Too fast, too clean. It had alien tech. Before he could react, steel vines shot up and wrapped around his arms and legs, yanking him down into a containment hole. Sira leapt forward. No time to think, no time to hide. Her invisibility cloak failed as she smashed into the trap's panel. Sparks flew, lasers fired. But she didn't stop. She reached the hole, grabbed his arm, and pulled, with strength her small frame should not have had. The trap fought back, but it was designed for her, not for someone protecting a human, and it failed. He gasped for breath as she dragged him out, both of them covered in dirt. He looked at her, truly looked at her, for the first time. No cloak, no shadow, just her. Purple skin, silver hair, eyes filled with fear. He didn't flinch. Instead, he whispered, "You saved me." Sira didn't speak. Her voice had never been heard by a human before, but she held his arm and didn't let go. She knew everything had changed. The drones had one mission: eliminate anomalies. First, her, now, him. In trying to hide herself, she had revealed him, and now, the galaxy's silent weapons were coming for both of them. But Sira didn't care. She had made her choice. If they wanted him, they would have to go through her. She shows herself to the world for her whole life. Sira had been a shadow, a ghost, a secret. Her people trained her to hide, to spy, to vanish. But now hiding wasn't enough, because they weren't just coming for her anymore. They were coming for him. Drones circled above the human base, silent, patient, waiting. Sira knew what they wanted. Not her capture, not her death. They wanted the human who could see the invisible because he wasn't normal. His eyes, his senses, they had changed, mutated by unknown energy after a long-forgotten mission in deep space, and that made him a threat to more than just her people. Sira watched him from a distance. He stood outside the base talking to his commander, calm, unaware of the net tightening around him. She tapped her wrist. Her cloak flickered, then shut off. For the first time ever, she let herself be seen by all. Gasps echoed across the courtyard. Guards raised their weapons. Alarms blared. "A Valari!" someone shouted. "She's here!" But she didn't run. She stepped forward, hands raised, eyes glowing. And then, she spoke. Her voice, broken but clear, rippled through the air. "I am not your enemy, but the true enemy is above us right now." She pointed to the sky. The drone struck fast. 3 beams shot toward her, but this time, she didn't dodge. She stood in front of the human, shielding him with her body. A shimmering wall of energy burst from her wrist panel, blocking the first 2 shots. The third grazed her shoulder. She cried out, stumbled by, but didn't fall. The human stared. No one moved. Until he, the soldier with strange eyes, stepped beside her and raised his voice. "She's telling the truth. They're hunting both of us. If we don't stand together, we all fall." Something changed in that moment. Weapons lowered. Humans gathered. Soldiers formed a wall in front of the two, and for the first time ever, a Valari and a human stood, side by side, not as hunter and hunted, but as allies. Inside the command tower, the generals watched the footage in silence. One whispered, "We were wrong about her." Another said, "We were wrong about them both." The broadcast spread through channels across colonies and fleets. An alien girl once invisible, a human once ignored. Now together, they were being seen by the entire galaxy, and Sira, once a ghost, was now a symbol of courage, of trust. And something no one expected: hope. The invisible girl who changed everything. Sira was no longer hiding. The world had seen her. The humans had heard her. And for the first time in her life, she felt real. It had been 1 week since the attack. Drones were gone, shot down by humans, hacked by rebels, or destroyed by their own failed mission. No one came for her after that. No more threats, no more silent hunters. Just quiet. And strange, peaceful days. Sira now walked freely through the base, not invisible, not chased. Some soldiers still stared, others looked away, but most nodded, smiled, offered help. She didn't understand everything they said, but she understood something else. They accepted her, not as a spy, not as a weapon, just as a person. The human, the one with the strange eyes. His name was Elias. He became her shadow, her shield, and strangely, her friend. They still talked in symbols, sometimes even in words now. She laughed once, and it scared her. She didn't remember ever laughing before. One night, under the same stars where they first met, Elias handed her a small human object. A badge. On it, the words, "You changed everything." She looked at him confused. He smiled. "The galaxy was blind, Sierra, but you made them see." Across colonies, her story spread like fire. Alien news, human networks, pirate feeds, the invisible girl who risked everything, the human who saw the ghost. 2 enemies, 1 bond. And then, the unexpected happened. A Valari ship landed near Delta 47. No weapons, no demands, only one message. "We request peace." Sierra didn't know if it would last. She didn't know if her people would truly change. But she had done something that no one else had dared. She stepped into the light. She showed her face, and she let herself be seen. Now, when people spoke her name, they didn't whisper it in fear. They spoke it with hope. And somewhere deep inside, the girl who once thought she was invisible finally believed the truth. She had always mattered. It just took one human to truly see her.